God morning. Not good morning. Well, good morning, but God morning. Typo. God morning to you all. Uh yeah, it's what day is it? Friday? Friday. End of the week. Hope you're having a good one. Uh been up riding for since about 2:30, and it's 6 now. I had to stop. My wrist, my hand was getting sore. Free flow. Let's go. That's not what I want. Yeah, the saga will begin just as soon as I get it down on paper, and I've been doing that. So this is what I meant to hit. Yeah, it's a free flow go today. I tell you what, I have wrote a ream of paper. Write those thoughts down as they come to you. Uh, I had to go in there right before I hit broadcast to get pad and paper. When it comes to your mind, you go, "Hey, that's great." Uh, man, uh, yeah, it's a going and it's a flowing, and we'll see if anybody wants to come in and join us. Uh, can't turn it off now. It is Tim to stream. Oh crap! Really? It's time to stream. I'll change that. Maybe I'll leave Tim in there. I did notice Timothy Olsen was up. Good morning, all you Misfits. I think he's in the Misfits group. That's a DM group. I don't participate that much. Somebody popped in. I saw one, and then it went back to 0. So, really? Am I that boring already? Oh, well. Anyway, it's good morning to you. I hope a God morning, I hope, will be for you and myself included. I need all the help I can get. Prayers for my co-host, as always, Shadowhawk. Hey man, if they do fire him, maybe that will be a good thing, just like it happened to that that other unemployed woman that was wrongfully fired from there, and she got a new job, just too sweet. And yeah, but I tell you what, I don't like looking for a new place to land my foot at all. That's why I've been, at my job for the last 11 years. And then before that, I think 6 years. I think that's right. So yeah, once I get in there, and I've actually enjoyed this. There's the only thing is it's not year round. If it was down Texas but you know what, that would get old too. I need my space. I as Hitler said, I need some breathing room. No, wait. Hey man, I'm off the chain, and will remain so till somebody stops me. Apparently. Yeah, okay. All right. I'll go ahead and play it. Wait, I think that needed a countdown with it. Okay, enough of that. Doc Blaylock, get your ass in here. I don't know where he is. He's probably sleeping, snoring, having coffee. I don't know. But it's time to stream. Can't turn it off. Have no desire to. After a while, I just turn a phrase and write. It's kind of like free association. Write it down as it comes to you. Now I can get on a beat, right? I can get on a script, and I did, and then it kind of, after a while, it just shorthand, and it devolves into something that's a saying here, a phrase there, but can be used nonetheless, recycled, whatever. Uh, YouTube seems to be messing with my counter, and nobody wants to come in here and say hi. Well, that's all right. I see the number going up and down. So yeah, man, I haven't even counted. I kind of used I was kind of working on uh out of a small sketchbook that just has not lined paper, just blank paper. But now I've had some drawings, and I kind of was utilizing anything that had space, and I was tearing it out too. So there's very little left in here. That's what a good writing session will do for you. It's 50 sheets at 9 inches, by 6 inches. So, yeah, just a little sketchbook that I've been putting some things in of late. Cover designs, new character designs, writing, reading and arithmetic. It's all in there. Little bits of herbs and spices, as they say. Yeah, I mean, I've got quite a bit here. I've got a good direction for the story I'm working on now, which I'm wanting to talk to Doc Blaylock over. But gosh, man, it already seems like it's Saturday and it's only Friday. That's how ahead of the game I am. At least let me check my calendar. Yeah, my company party tonight, Vector Party. I am not going to miss that thing. I need to probably go 2 or 3 hours early and chain myself to the door. Last year I missed it. Now I think that's the second time I've missed it. You know why? I mean, the last day I worked was like, I think 27th, I think 28th of August. Didn't even make it into October this year. And we have our Christmas party, or that's what they're coining it now, in December. I'm not sure. I saw an indicator where there might be about 10 of us there. I don't know. There's never a big, well, I don't know. I mean, probably the largest 15, 20 people. You can bring a friend. Of course you have to tell them ahead of time, and I have no friends. So, no, that's not exactly true. I do have friends. Just none of them want to go eat a free meal with me. They usually want me to pay. Why is that? No, that's not true either. Uh, uh, I've been thinking, and actually, right before Christmas, although Sunday is Christmas Eve, uh, and so some churches may not even have services Christmas Eve. I think that's a shame, but yeah, probably this Sunday I will probably, we'll probably take a hiatus. Sorry, Smoking Wraith. Sorry, Shadowhawk, if you're listening. I'll repeat this so that I'll probably go to church this Sunday. Uh, I have some friends that I want to contact, and say hi to, and uh, finding a church that you really click with. And I mean, there's lovely people from my former church there. In fact, a large part, I would say about a third, maybe over time, maybe less than that of my congregation went there at one time. Um, I, when it's right and when it's not, and it's just not totally right with me. Uh, it's not a bad, scene to be a part of at all. There are some prayer warriors. If you need prayer, if you need answers, if you need somebody petitioning, going straight to Jesus to intercede on your behalf, they'll get results. It's not, but finding the right fit for you in whatever you do is important. And I don't know, it just it didn't quite feel right. I and now that's sort of on me to find another congregation, and it was confirmation. I mean, Elsie, I'd already made up my mind and been thinking about it probably earlier yesterday, and I eventually called Elsie. Hadn't talked to her in a few days, and he said, "I want you to do something for me." And he didn't lead off with that, but he said, "I want you to go to church, or I think you need to go to church. You hadn't been in a while. I know you do your Bible study every Sunday and everything, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Yeah, I've already made up my mind to do so." So beat you to the punch. Uh, but, I take that as confirmation, you know. If you can't touch base with friends at Christmas time, when can you? I think it'd be a good thing. And I got some wonderful news. Touching base with my daughter, and my newfound sister. I mean, uh, you know, Christmas comes early. Now, why am I going to StreamYard? That's not what I want to do. Um, did want to kind of check in on just Facebook, and took my daughter and my sister, really my daughter, to get me going over to Facebook. On a regular basis. But she asked about my parents, and she said, "Wow, I'm sorry to hear about your dad." Yeah, March will be 8 years since he's been gone. Um, their anniversary was, mm, did I write it down? Amber's marriage anniversary was the 12th, Tuesday. Been married 9 years to her husband. Um, Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere. Mom's anniversary, or would have been anniversary, would have, you know, I mean, she still remembers it. And, they were married 62 years. So, uh, that's quite a feat all in itself. So, you know, but yeah, I'm just trying to Gable penny shot in the house. Actually, as I've been writing, Gable, you've been on my mind. I mean, I was burning up the midnight oil. Well, I started about 2:30, like I said, and went to about broadcast time here on 6. And it's like, yeah, I need to get up. I need to stretch. I need to do something different, and just slow the brain down a little bit. Just slow the brain down a little bit. When it flows, it can come in like a flood. And very grateful for that. I have a good lock, on uh, the story that Doc Blaylock and myself will be, I'm going to illustrate some of the backgrounds. He's going to do the principal character, which is the bystander. And that's going to lead into the Bog story that he did last year and into, fleshing that out in front of, you know, that. Eventually he will take over every page, doing the graphics too. But to begin with, I wanted just sort of insert characters done by him. Hey, Tree Goblin. Good morning to you. Yes, progress. Yes. I mean, I probably got 15 pages here. I mean, I don't know. I tend to write big and just it's like flow of thought. And yes, progress, definitely. Uh, and like I say, the reason I want to just kind of have him do like posed figures of the bystander on a few pages is to be able to insert a background. And I Doc is like, get it to me now. And I'm like, there's no way I can convey, it's a good thing because it kind of forced me, to move, go, focus, Gable, focus, right? uh and get her done, as we say. Well, I don't go around saying that, but anyway, I do have a cap that says that on there, but that's beside the point. Should I read a little bit of this or should I just save it? Hmm. Maybe I should just save it, right? Deadline should be a thing for all creators. Oh, definitely, yeah. And nothing forces me into a foxhole under fire like a deadline. Uh, yeah, it's a catch-22 for me. But now this has been a good experience with Doc. Like sometimes it comes to me in fragments, bits, and then sometimes it just comes flowing like the dicus burst and the little boy took his thumb out of the crack. Uh, else you get lost in the world building and not progressing. Right. And that is, I've done that for so many years. Gable, I will say that I've world build, that's why I have a Parthenon, plethora, a bunch of characters in the background just waiting to come forth. And wow, since action begets action, since I've been doing what I've been doing, I've created and I continue to create. I mean, over the last couple of days, I have created a couple of neat figures. One of them kind of a cosmic figure that's kind of like a metaphor for you, the observer. His name is the Observer. Uh, there's another character. I don't know if I have him named yet or not, but um, he's an interesting type character. You can't see him; he is invisible, but he does wear a derby hat. I'm thinking about giving him a monocle. Um, I know there's a top hat character. I forget the name. The going way back, a Justice Society of America villain, but that's similar to that. I may not give him a monocle. That might be too much, but got his jacket designed, whatever. He's kind of a dapper detective looking guy. I was watching some of the not last night. I've actually got off I watched the 2 disc. I have some of the discs missing out of the set. They're around here somewhere. Of at least I think that set may have only had 2 discs in it. Come to think of it, because it did have a bunch of stuff in there. I'd have to take account on that. It very well could have been the whole set, but it had room for other disc. But Sherlock Holmes, uh, Christopher Lee had a couple of Sherlock Holmes that he did with Patrick McNee. That was of the Avengers. Was also in James Bond and other things, but principally known as for the Avengers. He played Watson. Those were pretty good. All those are pretty good, but it's kind of got me in a detective type thing. But yeah, I can do, just digitally insert Doc's drawing of the bystander and then, on the first few pages and then do all the cosmic mumbo jumbo that I want on there. And plus, you get, I'm making a commitment to, and if I get started on some of that now, which this is going to help what I did tonight, writing. The start of it. Now this is just a rough draft, but here's just a rough read, just a little bit of it. I have no living memory of who I am. That's the bystander speaking. So I'm thinking Wolverine also. No need to tell his origin before it's time. Leave a little mystery in there. I think if you nail down things too fine, too quickly, um, they're less likely to be an interesting character. So, um, um, that's the line that kind of came to me. Sort of like he's an amnesiac, right? Has amnesia. I don't know. As far as I know, I have always been what you see before you, a cosmic participant and witness to events that have happened, that are happening, and are yet to happen. A sacred trust, to say the least, a type of protector, if you will, of all creation that may not be strong enough yet to defend itself. I intervene when most needed. So anyway, that's quick, just the first few lines there. But believe me, there's more. I went on and on and on and on and on, and that's good. That's good, because I don't think there's anything superfluous in there, not needed, nothing. But we can always clip stuff and throw it on the editing floor. But I think it flows pretty well. Think it sets the character up. I think it'll be an interesting narrative type character that has possibilities. In fact, wrote so much tonight, got direction. As I said, I broke it down into like little intros eventually. And then I devolved into just like one phrase things. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let us see if that greater proverb has meaning or merit. See, that's just like an opening line for a story. Stated truth and facts of a matter are often two separate things. Let us see where this train of thought may lead us. See, that's a good intro. 2 plus 2 is 4, to be sure, but 1 on 1 may equal more than 2. Let us observe an example of this in action. See, that's good stuff. I don't want to read too much. But yeah, this boy can write when he gets down to it. Maybe a better writer than I am an artist, but I need to quit exclaiming that. Excellent start. Work on it every day, and then you'll start forming a habit of getting it done. Oh my gosh, if I did this every day, I might as well be on cocaine. I mean, I wrote for like 3.5 hours nonstop. I mean, I might have taken a pause in between to think about the next sentence or whatever, but boy, when I get flowing, it's like no need for an or. I'll just, use my hands. But yeah, there's certain visuals I want to get in there, and it'll be a slow start. Like I say, Doc will if all goes according to plan, he'll do a figure here, a figure there, and then it'll evolve into some, pretty much full backgrounds there at first, and then maybe a panel here, a panel there, and then go straight into Doc's full story, which I, will flesh out. This helps immensely to just get, so good, so rich. Love it. Yeah, I just had to, I had to do something else. I had to stream. I was like, I've got to get away from this. Don't want to kill the flow, but it is a task. It is a drain, you know, uh, and that's why you write quick. You want to get it all down while it's still there. There's nothing more frustrating than not having the time to get down your full, complete, concepts or what you want to say, right? The Reader's Digest version, the abridged version, right? That sucketh. So, night time's a good time to write. Of course, now if you work like I do during a big portion of the night, then you have to kind of reschedule things. Get while the getting's good, though. If you're in the flow and like I've heard Mike Barron say, and I learned this. Didn't always do it, but I went to summer school back in 1982, and actually got to meet the guy who came up with the idea for Tony the Tiger. And he tutored me in English, and I had a shoebox full of character heads. That's how like I said, if I can create the head, create what their face looks like, then the rest of the costume, it's just, I can extrapolate from that. A good name and a good some interesting new vestige of a character is not always the easiest thing to come up with, but and truly try and put your spin on it, your take on it. Everything to a certain degree is going to be derivative. I know Steve Rude said he didn't like the new term of trope, but and I guess it was probably YouTube that taught me that word trope. But yeah, there's a lot of tropes out there. And I don't try and be derivative with my characters. You can't, like I say, you can't help but be somewhat or have some characters in mind. With Devil Flyer, it was a mashup of course, he's got wings, so kind of like Hawkman or any winged character, right? You might even say an angel. There's kind of that dichotomy of angel, demon, or angel devil, right? Devil Flyer. And, the tail came from Nightcrawler, but, there's devil's tails. So I think overall, I think the design works for the character. He is Devil Flyer, my favorite character. I know the politically correct thing to say is yes, because I want you to buy into it. But Devil Flyer is much more than just one character, as you will well see. It's a whole it's a whole universe and he's just kind of the focal point. He's just kind of the primer, the start. Is he a interesting character? Yes, he's very quickly becoming a very, very interesting character, all in its own right. Maybe one of these days I like to draw him more. I really have not. I could probably count on one hand the times that I've actually drawn the character. I created the character and kind of handed him off, as I do with many hands make light work. So not to be lazy about it, but I'm always on to the bigger and better thing, and then hopefully do a Jinsaki and tie it back in, right? all this will be interlaced, interlinked. It's pretty interesting. But now these stories can stand on their own as well. It's just a enjoyable story all by itself. Uh, with maybe a mention or a hint here or there of a prior story or something, or some event that'll tie in later. You have to drop those Easter eggs, you know, hide them uh, before you can go searching for them. So hopefully I'll drop a bunch of Easter eggs in there, and they'll pay off. You got to have a setup and a payoff in the end. Now that can happen in different various ways at different various times in the story arc, but yeah, I think I'm getting a handle on it. Um, Especially with, I think this was a good move to go to the prequel magazine. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it again. Get the elephant out of the room, the large story that was just kind of like a primer starter story, which, I think is a good setup. And I have already, I will be doing some Jin Sakis with that story. There will be, stuff that's set up there. Shadowhawk back says, "It looks great, Timothy," in response to something. I don't know what that is. They're talking in the DM group. Um, but yeah, there's just certain images that come to me. You never know what's lying around the next corner when you're, got the creativity flowing. A new character that I create might take me in a different story direction. That's why I'm a little hesitant. I've tried to nail this thing down more than once, but the best plans of mice and men. I think I said it yesterday, and I've said it before. I think Amanda B did me a big favor, and as well as you, Gable, saying focus. That's always good to keep in mind. There's certain touchstones, touch stones rather, and I do have a character called Touchstone, or I will be creating one called Touchstone. Uh, uh, Having to deal with living memory in a way. Anyway, you never know what Amanda B. Yes, let's get back on to Amanda B. She said, we just want a story. Let's do a story. I don't know exactly can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but it's like, yeah, okay, they want a complete story. I think that's basically what she said, because I was thinking about taking this Devil Flyer first story, as you might remember, and chopping it up, not on Choppy S Theater, although I'm sure that might happen at some point. Uh, but putting it on the chopping block, and chopping it up into 3 bits, as I was trying to get out something that I had on hand as quickly as possible, and doing 2 more campaigns and putting it into Ashcan form, just all, instead of having the first Ashcan, you get the whole story in 3 little bits. But Amanda and others, primarily Amanda in my mind, well, I mean, the whole chat probably had a say and said, no, just put it all into one. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. So you want stories, I'll give you stories. I mean, the reason Devil Flyer didn't come out last March, I wasn't ready for one, wanting to jump the mark and just get something out. And the book was pretty much done, except for maybe the lettering. But as far as the Devil Flyer story was, but into the crowdfunding, it's like, yeah, I've got other characters, I've got a whole universe, I want to expand on this, and um, I just didn't think it was enough. I didn't think that it would. I mean, it would have had a monicum of, but you want to get the most for your bang for your buck, because I mean, here I've got more than what a lot of creators have. A 29-page story. That's a pretty good chunk in a book. Howbeit, I think you'll be able to read through it fairly quickly. Be clean and concise and to the point. A starter. But I quickly saw or felt anyway, and I think rightly so, that it needed some backup to flesh it out. So, but then it was growing unwieldy, as you know, to 64 pages. So it's like, okay, let's do something different here. And it finally came to me to do sort of a prequel issue in magazine form and get that elephant out of the room, plus some of the other stories that I had um, in furthest development. Uh, and just, get that out uh, as soon as possible. So that's what we'll be doing, launching February 3rd on Red Valkyries. And in the next few days, I'll be trying to line up some hard dates for other shows to go on around that time, either pre-launch or after launch shows, uh, and also get mailing list up. Hope Let me make a note right now, or that'll slip into another decade. Definitely need to get the mailing list up so people can start signing up, right? Uh, for this great work that will soon be coming your way. All right. Mailing list. There we go. I already have my MailChimp set up. I probably, I don't know. I'll work on it. Hopefully I can get together with somebody greater than I, and we could figure that out. A simple thing that has stymied Apex Comics to this day. Hence, no FemBat sign up or campaign yet, but he's working on it. I have read FemBat. He did send me a copy so that I might start working on. I'll probably reread it when it comes time to kind of sit down to that. Devil Flyer versus even that. Even that little plot thing has changed since I've kind of expanded on things. Because I was really trying to cram in two stories into one, and yes, I could have done it. I thought it was, the first 5 pages focused on Bog, the last 5 on another character that is yet to be introduced, but he will get introduced in the prequel. I promise you, I will draw him in somewhere on one of those backgrounds, and there will probably be. I know Doc's already done that character more than once, so uh, uh, there may be trading cards or something with him on it. So he will get in there, get to work Apex. Yeah. Don't we all need to get to work? Thankfully, I had the day off, the weekend off, and the rest of my life. Well, I mean, till I don't anymore. Uh, but I will be busy uh, you know. One thing is, I'll probably just stop streaming, and since I'm so, I wouldn't say hot, but I'm, feeling good, feeling rested. Um, Now that I've kind of backed away from the writing a little bit, and just things come to me as I piddle around and everything, and then I always have something there handy to write on. Um, yeah, mine are more technical issues. And that's why I'll probably get somebody, not Anthony, because he's too busy. Dark Gift, kind of like Doc did. Now, I wouldn't feel right really having just, I want to kind of steer the ship in you know through the choppy waters of crowdfunding a little bit. I don't want to, but I may just get down on Fund My Comic, and I've already got 3. Believe it or not, I already have 3 campaigns that I've worked on a little bit to varying degrees. I may adapt one of those, or I may just start a new thing altogether. Um, but I'll try and take a look at that, see what I can do on my own. I may elicit some help, but Yeah, that's got to get cranking. Got to get that somewhat up and improved. I don't like the fact that everything you add to it, I mean, it's just sort of a formality after that, but you do have to have the bone, the meat on the bones. Now that could be, that I've seen some very simple campaigns. I've seen some complex campaigns. Mine will probably be somewhere in the middle. I don't want to get too in the morass of things. But yeah, I mean, I was like, even thinking about, I've been thinking primarily and working on, and this was and Gable Penny Shot, you are right. Yes, progress, actually made some progress today. And that helps immensely. The breakthrough of the dam that I was looking for. Knew it was coming at some point, better sooner than later, because this year's running out. I mean, we have just a little over a month, and we've got to launch the book, and not just the book, but anything that comes with it. Beanie, T-shirt, whatever we settle on, whether we're going to have a campaign box or no or whatever. These things have to be decided and decided quickly. And but the two primary things that I've been working on, which I made great strides to, good beginning. And then work is the visuals, the story. Now that I have a narrative written down, it's sort of a script. I'll get the visuals and tell Doc the initial poses that I need, which I will insert digitally, and that work. Some of that may go up on the campaign to be bought. Just the images of bystander. I'll have original art up on the campaign, Bog and bystander and other characters. We'll see. We'll see. I'll have some from Doc and Tank Ferret. I know. Um, Maybe Vic. I don't know. We'll see. Been thinking a little bit about how to, what to add to the campaign and when, and what's a good strategy. Should I just put it all out there and shield the hell out of it, or should I sort of add to and then when to add to? Um, uh, the other thing besides the initial visuals, which I have some of that, and now the story narrative, or at least a good beginning, like you said, where to cut it off is the thing. But I think I have a lot of exposition and dialogue. I think what you didn't get in the Devil Flyer story, because I was pretty sparse with the dialogue in that story. I think it's a fulfilling story, but you're going to be able to go through that 29 pages fairly quickly. Um, and then there's Doc Blaylock's. I can't say that there's a lot in that, but now this first part of the story, first chapter, if you will, of the 9-page Grave Tales that will link up with that, actually be in kind of couple parts. Don't ever be scared of dialogue. Yeah. Well, I'll have a lot of exposition and dialogue in there, as long as it's interesting. So, and I have stuff to prove. I think now it's a good fit. I'll be able to show a little bit of my artistic talent in combination with Doc's work, and show my writing and my artistic chops off a little bit, and just how I can conceptualize and put a book together a little. I think it'll give you a good indicator that there's going to be bigger and better things. If there's one thing I know, it's how to put together a comic book, in a way. But the other thing I've been thinking about, of course, and I've talked about this a little bit, is the variant cover that Jimmy Reyes is going to be doing. And of course, I want to get the most for my buck without driving him crazy. But what visuals do I want in there? I have some very strong ideas, and now that I've expanded it to a wraparound cover, because I really didn't want to be encumbered Is it costing me more? Sure. But, I mean, this may be, you never know what the future holds. This may be my one, and I didn't have I already have, well, more than one cover in, you know, I've got the covers, here and there to varying degrees, things that I can use for covers, uh, and specific covers, but, I didn't have a wraparound. So, John Fernandez did one. I'm touting that as the golden age. Devil Flyers costume will be a different color. The color's a little, I mean, but it'll be, it's a watercolor he did, calling that the golden age, because, his artwork does, or it's been described since I've thrown it out there, it's like this image here, that my icon, a golden age feel to it. So, I'll lean into that and run with that. We'll just call it the golden age cover. And then of course there's the main color, cover done by Dillard. And then, Jimmy Reyes can do me a wraparound. I'd like to have a wraparound cover on every book I do, because it just expands the vision. You can get double for your trouble, uh, yeah, don't ever be scared of dialogue. Would you like to elaborate on that, or, um, yeah, I mean, say what you need to say. I do believe, like Mike, has said, he didn't quite put it this way, but brevity is the soul of wit. All right. Keep it brief, concise, and say what you have to say, and get out, because it's a burning building, right? Can be. But yeah, I will probably, do, one thing I'm committed to while I'm thinking about these things and writing them down as they come to me. And I've really, really been putting myself through the ringer, primarily thanks to Doc, for, because I know once he gets on a warpath, it's like, yeah, need to get him something as quick as possible. I almost think he just said that to be like, look, man, if you're going to get this out, you can chop, and which is good advice. Not that I, but it puts fire under the, so one other thing I'll be doing is cleaning up in here, changing the background. I really would like to expose all the showcase books I have and essential books. Take everything down, reassess, and then kind of rearrange, make some room. I have some of my regular library on the lower tiers and off to the side here, that probably need to be moved out, so that I can set up a sort of a diorama. I would like to take one of these shelves and put, put my Enterprise up with all the Mago figures that I have from my childhood. I think that would be pretty cool back there for a little while. And then there's the Gorgo, my Christmas present from Shadowhawk, uh, that I can, also set up. So there's, a few things I'd like to set up back here. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, I have to make room just to move things around here, you know. But yeah, hopefully in the process I can find some things that are much needed. I know I will. I always find stuff. Um, I know Gable would not be. He would probably be. He's probably pretty chintzy on his dialogue too if he were to write a book, because he's like, he drops a comment and then just lets it lie. You know, glean from it as you will. Juice that orange, as much as you can get out of it. But you're gonna have to do some squeezing, because he's just like, yeah, I just give you the hint of what I'm talking about, and then I don't elaborate any further. It's up to you to squeeze out of it what you will, and I do that too. Uh, Yeah, I can't wait till, and this is, man, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen here pretty soon. Uh, man, I tell you what, I can't wait till fulfillment. Still struggling with that too. Sorry, Rex working. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I thought you might be. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm still wondering whether to go with RJ with Critical Blast, or to fulfill it again myself. I've been thinking about also a printed now it'll have to be, it's magazine size, so it'll have to be a magazine Gemini mailer. But I maybe a printed magazine mailer is one thing that kind of crossed my mind the other day. And I always wanted to do, and I've noticed there's been a couple of campaigns out there that did it, but just because campaigns have done it, they haven't done it like I want to do it. So, you know, oh well, that's been done. Well, tell me something that hasn't. I'm not going to let that deter me. Hello, Bone. It's good to see you, my friend. Are you working as well? I'm just wondering. Um, But, yeah, a wax seal, that would be cool. I've seen that actually come about on a couple campaigns, and I always think that's pretty neat, the old wax seal treatment, kinda treating the Gemini mailer, it would be printed upon. I don't know if that's even possible, but I don't. Oh, you're on your way to work, okay. I don't let, I'm a concept guy. I think it up, and then it's up to others to execute it. Where I can execute it, this darn comic slave driver. Um, I really wouldn't want to sit around and just write all day. I can't do that. Now thinking, or you know, I'm always constantly thinking. It may be like, duh, where's the coffee? But some level of consciousness is in there somewhere. Um, but I think, therefore, I am. Anyway, I digress. Or do I? Yeah, that's the way it's been all night long, folks. Conflicting, just, you know, throw it up against the wall, see what sticks. Um, some good stuff, little bits of herbs and spices. It's in there. Paste picante sauce, remember? Petridge Farm remembers. I don't always, but Petridge Farm does. Maybe I need to invest in that. Probably not. Bill Gates probably owns it. Anyway, yeah, I will be trying to refine this diamond in the rough and get as much of it done as possible. I kind of like that I've interjected myself into it a little bit more and taking on some artistic chores and just another. And thanks to Doc too, he had already kind of loosely laid out some pages. I've been kind of the last few weeks had just been kind of waiting for him to get around to work on what he was, and I was working on other things. And that might have just been world building, Gable, but uh that is a trap, that a pitfall, as that everybody can fall into. But yeah, I wouldn't want to stick around and write all the time, for sure. Um and I know there is the inherent, world building pitfall that you can fall into. Now that we have a crowdfunding and a distribution, way to do it, and then there's other ways, Shopify and other things too, which I'll be exploring here soon as possible. Um, and get some merch out there, maybe even before the book comes out. That's what I'm hoping. A way to supplement my income, and then, get you some, and get myself, one thing that I don't think that there's probably high demand in. We'll see. It'll be thrown out there anyway. One of the first things I want, if not the first thing I want to produce, and I'd like to do it now, now, uh, simply because I would love to present my mother with a jigsaw puzzle. maybe with the Devil Flyer prequel cover artwork on it or something like that. Something dope like that. That uh, in full color and everything could be made into a puzzle very easily on Shopify. They have templates for all that type of stuff. And then, because she puts together, and then she could brag, my son made this, had this made, produced this. Even if there's only one for her and one for me, and one for Shadowhawk and one for anybody else that wants one. I'm sure Shadowhawk might want one if I make one for me and my mother. He's just that kind of way, completist, kind of like myself. But yeah, I would love to present that to her for Christmas. Although we're coming down to the nub, it's almost here. Um, 11 days. 11 days away to Christmas, and that's counting today. So tick, 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 tick. I'll be, exploring every pathway I can uh, to beef this issue up. I think it has a larger epic scope. I think that's what I've been looking to interject in that. And like I say, God bless Doc Blaylock's cotton picking heart, as we say in the South. I never say that. I never really say that, but it has been said and bears repeating, I suppose. Uh, yeah, bless his heart. Uh, for kind of pigeonholing me, and then also holding my feet to the fire to a little bit, and then kind of like an accountability partner, I suppose. Elsie says we're accountability partners, and he's told me that since the '90s. Um, okay, he gets on this bent, and I'm like, okay, all right, just go with the flow. All right, whatever you think, whatever you say. Not that I'm not. We do try and hold each other accountable, um, for sure. And God bless him for, because I've streamed, and I don't know, he hasn't worked out the thing where he can kind of come on here beyond getting in the chat, and he hasn't really even gotten in the chat. He does watch some of the episodes, if not all of them. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of the communications has broken down. We've not communicated like every day, like, but again, I've told him, there's been times where I've not felt like talking to anyone. I have to entertain my muse, and I'm not talking Abby, although she'd love to be there in that position. In a way, I guess she is my muse. She's my only company. But yeah, I mean, you have to get away, and you have to think about what you really want to say and what you really want to do, and go do it. Right. So that's what I've been doing. And he's been gracious enough to be understanding and be supportive, and can't wait till things really coalesce and come together. And I mean, if we do some of the books that I have planned, the John Buscema, the Jack Adler, and hush about all that, and other projects, if it, eventually, yeah, maybe we'll be in that top tier. It'll be a hell of a ride. To me, it's not the destination, it's the journey. I think going to have a hell of a journey, without hopefully all the pinnacle and pitfalls of a roller coaster. Uh, and just put out some darn good entertainment, some thought provoking stories. When it comes to writing, I'm amazed at how it all just kind of comes together. I thank God for first and foremost for that. Um, there's a billion possibilities, and you have to make a choice when writing, and kind of narrow and, dare I say, Gable, focus power, focus, and somehow arrive at where you're trying to get to, right? And hopefully make it, if not the best ride, at least a good ride, a good journey to getting to your destination of whatever story you're trying to tell, whatever that may be. Um, Looking a little bit, I probably treat this, we'll see in the future, treating this like I do comics and the artistic chores. Um, Trying not let to one thing or many things unduly influence me. I try and make it as original as I can when it comes to character design, and same thing with the writing. And so I'll take tips and hints and visuals when it comes to the artwork, concepts, ideas. But at the end of the day, I want it to be set apart and not be derivative. And so I try and foster that individual creativity without being unduly influenced by things. I think that's the best way uh, for me. Um, I think there's a lot of derivative things out there. I think probably, as Mike has said before, 90% of it's crap that's out there. So that that seems harsh, but it seems about right to me. Um, that's why I don't read certain things so that I'm not unduly, I think there's some writers that I've never really given some people the time of day. Maybe it's just I don't get a good vibe on there. Let me get around to saying hello to Chris Longfellow. How are you, Nikki? Good morning to you. I hope your day goes well. Um, yeah. So I'm the approach is the same. You have to find a good medium that works for you. How to work all that out um, best. And for me, it's pruning, it's culling distractions. Um, and ultimately, there's always trees that fall in every woods that need to be cleared away, right? There's your metaphor. Um, if you ask me, Rex, what's a metaphor? I probably couldn't give you a good a definition or any kind of literary term. I know vaguely the concepts of some words, but and I do use them, and I think try to in my own style, in my own way. Chris Longfellow said, "I stayed up all night." I did too, pretty much, Chris. Nikki, aka Nikki, the luscious one, watching the meteor shower. Oh wow, it was incredible. Trying to unwind and go to sleep. You just explained a metaphor perfectly. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I live by example, right? Um, Show don't tell. Although, again, you have to have a good balance, right? I'm trying to achieve that good balance. Um, from when you are thrust into the action on page one, and hopefully you've eaten a satisfied meal by the back cover, you will say that was a satisfying, entertaining experience. That's what I'm going for. I think there's no higher praise that I could give a comic book. Um, but a comic book is by no means any less. In fact, I think it's more. It's an American original in a way. And sorry to my UK, Australian, Norwegian, uh, everybody else in the world, friends. Uh, but yeah, it's if you have, I mean, I know what comics did for me, and I think if you're a true fan, that's going to come out in your work. If you're not, there's a lot of people out there. Maybe some of these crowdfunders that you backed, and you were left, I don't want to say wanting, but I'm sure maybe some of these projects, it's like, well, they phoned that in. I don't want you to ever say that, oh, Rex phoned that in. That is another thing to consider when you're thinking about my time schedule of publishing and coming out. I have written every story. No one else has written anything within my comics except me. So, um, hopefully there's enough diversity. Can I use that word? In the way I tell stories, that it won't seem like, yeah, this came from the same guy, that this came from just the same old, same old. Hopefully you won't tire of me too quickly. Um, but yeah, we're going to be, that this is going to be my holiday. That, and I think real life experience. Just, I don't want to say my real life drama, but the last couple of years have been kind of shocking. You know, the death of family members, a lot of change. And then even the year before that, going into COVID, and my mother moving, and a lot has happened in the last 2 or 3 years. Finding out I had a biological sister, actually two. One is dead. Reconnecting with my daughter, which I have not seen in about 30 years, I think. Something around that, yeah, I'll give you time for your jaw to, come up off the ground. I feel the same way. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers, positive, beaming in those positive thoughts and prayers to me. I need it. I'm not perfect by any means. Um, I think that informs my stories. Especially, tonight's writing. I think it's, been an influence. Um, there is no substitute. Just go outside, take a breath of air, look around. There is no substitute for what's in the real world, as whether you think you're part of the matrix or it's a hologram or what. But go out and have some fresh air today. Look at a tree, an interesting tree, flower, blade of grass. It's all fascinating, more than I can comprehend. I gave up on trying to know it all a long time ago. In fact, I think the wisest man that ever lived said, "This I know nothing." There's always more to learn. Nikki says, "You are a good man. You're silly and intelligent and funny. And I'm sorry, and fun. I think your stories will be quite something." Yeah, I hope so, Nikki. Um, you know, should I read a little bit more? I mean, I can't. I'm not. I'm one of these. I can't hold on to it. I just almost have to say it. This is a rough draft, of course. Picking up where I left off. Yet I like others, perhaps more than some, have doubts of who I have been and who I am and what I might become. Now that harkens back to what I said earlier, without saying, where bystander says, um, I um, let me find it here. Oh, a witness to events that have happened. That's the past. That are happening. That's the present, and are yet to happen. That's the future, without putting the old tropes of past, present, and future in there, right? There's different ways to say things, folks. So I kind of said the same thing in two different ways here, alluding to the past, present, and future in the dialogue. Um, but yeah, this is, I'm sure some of this is autobiographical without getting too, uh, how'd you like that? I just kind of muddled through that word. Biographical. How about that? Um, Perfect pronunciation, if I do say so myself. I sat under my favorite 60-foot tall tree named Gandalf. Wow. And watched shooting stars for 5 hours last night. Well, I would say that's time well worth spent. You might be a little fatigued, but wow, that's got to be an adrenaline rush. It's not every day you can see a nice meteor shower, especially under a 60-foot tree. I've rappelled out of a 50-foot tree. And indeed, when your back is to the ground and there's just a rope hanging, holding you, and gravity's tugging at you, yeah, it's that 50 and especially 60 foot is high up. You don't want to fall from that. Anyway, starting back where I left off, yet I, like others, perhaps more than some, have doubts of who I have been, who I am, and who I might become. A being that seems to stand between the light and the dark. And yes, I have a visual for that Doc's going to be doing. It'll be half bystander, half light, half dark background. It'll be half bystander, half passenger, which is kind of his dark side, uh, his doppelganger in a way. Uh, Dark. Let's see. Dark of nature of man and all humanity. A let's see. Of all humanity and creation. Uh, Curse or folly, I must be what I now appear to be, a mere bystander to the events before me, events that might take eons or mere nanoseconds to see. My role in this said events is not complete or totally clear, yet, as it has been said, only time will tell. Yet time does not always reveal its secrets so easily, if ever. And I'll end it at that. I don't want to give it all away, right? But that's some of what I've worked on. I think it's a good start. I think it has a good flow to it. Uh, to coin a phrase, um, I think you'll get something out of that. I know I have just writing it, uh, and yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I could blather on forever, but I'm like you. I like it very much. Yeah. Well, thank you. Um, that's what I need. Positive reinforcement, right? Uh, Down with the naysayers, right? That sucks, Rex. Start over. Crush my dreams. Thank you, Rex. You've been a lovely day. Have a lovely day. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. My pleasure. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here and start to work on this room, maybe a little organization. Can't wait to get a better background, maybe for the new year, um, to show everyone. Uh, like I say, I would like to show you actually some of my library with all this clutter in front of it. And then we'll start to clutter it up again with some nice collectibles and stuff. I just want a interesting backdrop. And this has been going on far too long simply because I can't go across the room to fix it and change things out. I was changing everything's daily when I first started out, but that becomes a bit much. Um, you have so much cool stuff. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And if you really want to go way back and see some earlier episodes, just just click on those and see how I changed things up over time. I have all kinds of different things that I've changed out over time. Some of this I didn't even have when I started. I did, as you know, I think it was last year, maybe the year before. I helped Elsie with an estate sale and brought a bunch of stuff home. Um, Nikki says maybe if you want to change things, do it by the season every 3 months. Yeah, I've thought about that. Hopefully, once I get maybe sort of the area, the floor cleaned out here. A lot of this. Oh, you should see the rest of the house. Atrocious. Um, I don't know how my sister's ever going to walk in the door. In fact, she can't get in the front door because it's barred. There's comic boxes in front of it. A lot of this stuff I've shown on shows and just have simply not put up. Some of it I have. It's not in total disarray, but it needs some major work on it. And hopefully, chip away at that stone and keep at it. And I think a good place to start is probably this room. This room, I need to be able to change the background and give it a fresh coat of paint. I think that will energize me. Um, I'm kind of in the mood to clean. I mean, I've got the time. I've got the time if you've got the beer. Uh, anyway, I'm going to get out of here, keep reading, find something good to read, and watching the stars or the meteor showers uh, as it may be. And as always, yeah, I just need something to energize me. So we'll do this. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, baby, as they say. Keep collecting. Bow for now. You're the best.